For the symposium of the Suid Afrikaanse Onderwysersunie, or the South African Teachers Union. The theme is quality education and how to manage it. The shortage of teachers and codes of conduct in schools will also be discussed. Our reporter Lerato Thipa is there to give us an update. Lerato, a very good afternoon to you. I would imagine a lot to be discussed there, including some of the hot topics we've seen at schools recently. What's transpired there this morning?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Natasha. The theme of this conference is quality management equates to quality schools, and that's really pretty much been the focus of the talks this morning. Just a few minutes ago, the Director of Basic Education, Mr. Matanzi Mamweli, spoke about the importance of quality principles. You understand that over 900 principals from all across the country have come here to find solutions to the problems within schools and also problems in the Department of Education. He spoke about the importance of having passionate principals, dedicated principals, and also principals that are in touch with the challenges and needs faced by their pupils at the schools. But joining me this morning is the CEO of the SAOU, Mr. Chris Klopper. Tell us more about this conference and why it is important at such a time where schools are the focus in society. Mr. Chris Klopper, just take us briefly. The theme of this conference is quality management equals quality schools. In your opinion, what needs to be done to improve the quality in our schools?
Well, we believe that the low-hanging fruit for education in South Africa falls out on two levels. The first one is that if you really want to improve the quality of education, you have to address the quality of school principals, and together with that, the quality of the management team. And then the second issue would be to improve the subject knowledge of teachers. If you can succeed on those two levels, we believe that you will go quite far in addressing many of the shortcomings in our education system.
Now, a topical issue right now is a code of conduct within schools, especially in terms of hair. Just your views about that and how that can be rectified going forward.
Well, I think first of all, you must bear in mind that any school community is a complex sub-community. When you ever have 1,000+ families represented in a small enclosure, it's going to become sensitive and complex. With regard to hair, I think on an educational level the following. First of all, there's a direct relationship between discipline, school code of conduct, and the quality of education, undoubtedly. But likewise, it's also important to say that when you address codes of conduct, you can't have a one-size-fits-all approach. And I think the other educational issue that needs to be addressed is that schools must consult with their learners, must consult with their parents to be aware of what the latest trends are and how people regard certain codes of conduct. And it's not only applicable to black learners, it's also applicable to white learners. And I think it's something that we must bear in mind, that it's also something that is a bone of contention all over South Africa. And our advice to schools would be to say, go into a process of consultation with parents, be representative about it, into consultation with learners, and take an educational decision of what is regarded as in the best interest of the school and learners.
And then lastly, this conference is growing. You said to me earlier on that last year there were 800 people and this year there are over 900. How important is it to have principals under one roof to try and scrutinize the problems within education and also inspire them to go back and plow back into their schools?
Well, I think you've touched on the one issue that is one of our aims, and that is to be in a position to charge the batteries of teachers, and especially principals. They are the proverbial ham in the sandwich between parents and the school authorities on the one side, and they must be able to act as a lightning conductor. So what we're trying to do is to give them some bit of sustenance, bit of energy, and charge their batteries and send them back. But it's also important for schools that they do not function as islands. And they must be able to network with other schools, and then they realize that the problems that they experience, other people have also experienced, and some of them have solved the problems. And that's why it's important that we get a common approach to some of the glaring problems in education.
Well, that was the CEO of the SAOU saying the issue of code of conduct within the schools, in particular within hair, cannot be solved overnight. It's going to need a joint effort between schools, the principals, parents, and the Department of Education to try to find ways on how to perhaps amend the code of conduct, but also make sure that the pupils in the schools are also not isolated. Also saying that this conference is about inspiring principals to go back to the schools and improve the quality of education within their schools. It's back to you in studio.
Lerato, thank you very much. Our Lerato Thipa live from Port Elizabeth.